Prepositional phrases show a relationship in a sentence. They start with a preposition. I'm going to show you the list, but you have it in your packet, and end with an object of the preposition. So here are some examples. Over the hill. This is the preposition. This is the object of the preposition. Preposition, object of the preposition. The object of the preposition is always a noun or a pronoun. Prepositional phrases can be found virtually anywhere in the sentence, and we like to give you sentences on quizzes and tests and in practice that have lots of prepositional phrases because the truth is that's the way that we speak and the way that we write. So after the game is a prepositional phrase, we went to a movie. This is a list of frequently used prepositions, and it's really helpful to be familiar with most to all of these. You do just have to be able to look at a sentence and be able to hear it, and we'll practice that some. But there are some that I think that we see more often than others, and so I just want to point some of those out. At, of, with, in, from, for, to. Those are ones that come up quite often. The other piece that I want to point out is that compound prepositions do exist, and so the one that most often I think comes up is because of. When you see this, a lot of times people will put the parentheses starting at of, but if you see a because of, that's really where it ought to go. So just be mindful of that, and we're never looking to trick you, but we do want you to get into the mode of being able to find these, so be mindful of them. In this slide, I'm just pointing out that there's something that is common about prepositional words, and that is that they're telling us about a relationship between other words. So here are some examples. This is just a list of some prepositional words that work to indicate location. Here's a list that talks about time and movement, and we could break them all down. But I just wanted to share some of these. So you can see she is sitting behind her sister. The dog is lying between her owners. I am walking inside my house. And then here are time ones. After dinner, we will watch Some Kind of Wonderful. We played backgammon before swimming. She drove past her exit. And then some movement ones. Along the river, I noticed some turtles swimming toward a rock. From the Witch's Tower, I can see all of Minneapolis and some of St. Paul. So you can see that there can be prepositional phrases any time, any place in the sentence, and that you can almost hear the rhythm of them if you get used to some of those words. In every sentence, we want you to mark your prepositional phrases first. Put them in parentheses. This will make your grammar life 100 times better, I promise. So let's just get into the practice of doing exactly that. Over the weekend, I started reading a book about World War II. After a long weekend, I look forward to school. One of my favorite subjects is grammar. I promise that as we go along and we get into things like finding the simple subject and the simple predicate, the fact that they will never be a part of a prepositional phrase means that finding those prepositional phrases makes your life 100 times easier. So even when we've moved on to direct object and indirect object and all sorts of other things within grammar, the first thing that we always want you to do is find the prepositional phrases. The one that gets really tricky as we go along is the word to, because it can be either a preposition or what we call an infinitive. So how do we tell the difference? If to is functioning as a preposition, it will always end with a noun or a pronoun. We went to the game. Here's our object of the preposition. I came to a stop. Here's my object of the preposition when I saw the police car. But if to is functioning as an infinitive, it will always be followed by a verb. We wanted to swim to the island. This is an infinitive. We always mark them off with these brackets. And this is a preposition because here's my object of the preposition. This isn't an object. This is a verb. It's not acting as a verb. In this case, it's acting as an infinitive, but we look at it and we know, wait a second, that's something that people do. To succeed, again, here is a verb, and that makes this an infinitive. In school, it's important to do, again, this is acting as a verb, your homework. So let's practice. We went to the game. That's a prepositional phrase because game is working as an object. We went to town. This is working as an object of the preposition. We wanted to swim. This is working as a verb. I want to read that book. To read is working as a verb. Go to the store and buy bread. To the store, this is working as an object. I used a computer to type these notes. This is working as an infinitive.